she's one of these people who happens to, she's living her life, you know? She's living her life the way I would have lived mine probably. My mother probably worried about me as I traveled across the country the same way I worry about her. So we all know that story, right? So for me, it's always about looking at, really looking back to my great-great-grandmother, who was 103 when she died. And so I was like 2 years old at that time. And I know we often talked about it in the family reunions when we went home about where she was from, how mean she was at 103. I think she deserved at that point to kind of, get there. But she had come from the West Indies, and literally was very, I didn't know her, so all the stories I know are from family, stories about who she was. And this quilt that you're seeing here is a quilt that she made. And it was out of silk fabrics that she had gathered from the silk factories that my grandfather worked at. A lot of those quilts, again, you all know this too, is that they were built out of found materials, for the most part, materials that people gathered together from old clothes. And they would come together in their own way. There was no particular pattern, although the rhythm of color was very much like jazz. I mean, we all feel that these were ways of sort of holding on to a kind of legacy and a history, and I still have that quilt. The other piece of kente cloth that's in the video was given to me, and it's one of those pieces that, of course, is back to the origins, talking about Africa, trying to bring that larger concept again into play with what's happening currently. So the box piece that's in the gallery happens to be a picture of my mom, and I should say our mom because my sister is here today, who was 16 years old, and she's standing in front of, she grew up on a farm, so she's standing in front of a haystack, and she's all dressed up, and what really got me about this photograph, and the reason I decided to make a piece out of it, was because I thought, what a dichotomy. Here's this woman all dressed up, young lady, and she's reading a teen magazine, and she's in front of a haystack. It was just amazing to me to think about, that transition in her own life. So I think my communication with my mother was probably like my daughter's is with me. And I often look at that sort of connection, that bond that really is so tenuous at times. All right, so that essentially was what the video is. I'm sorry.